I am Dawn Marie Paul, an artist and author talking art and books for Jacob Tours America. I became an artist in a roundabout way. I wanted to be an artist as a teenager, but as you do, many things got in the way as life progressed, and so I didn't actually come back to art until my middle years. I went back to college to get my bachelor's degree in humanities, which is the study of art and people and belief systems. And while I was there, I decided I wanted to write children's books, and so I went back and I got my English literature minor, and then I ended up taking a diploma course for children's literature, and I started writing. And so I couldn't afford an illustrator at the time, and I wanted to learn, I wanted to illustrate the books, so I started illustrating my books. And this is a series called The Tales of Christian Tamta, which is a middle grade series of 4 books, and then there's a picture book and an activity book with it as well. I was illustrating the books, but I was not proud of my illustrations, and I decided I was going to take a year off of writing to learn how to illustrate better. Well, then it ended up turning into 8 years so far of an artistic journey, and on that journey I've discovered a lot of things about myself. I've done a lot of different kinds of art. I've taken so many different kinds of art classes. I painted acrylics with my grandma as a kid, and as an adult I've gone through so many different mediums. I have just about every art supply you can have, and I painted realistically, I painted illustratively, and I've been into doodling. Currently, I am painting abstract. I learned a year ago that I was autistic, and it was like a missing puzzle piece. And as I was processing what that meant and reliving memories from my childhood and all the things that go along with a diagnosis like that, I created a series of art that I call Autistic Expressionism, and it's pattern work and limited palettes in watercolors and inks. And some of them have, as the journey progressed, I started to theme them and have some illustration aspects to them. Now, Jacob asked me about my books, and I always was a reader. I loved reading fairy tales and mysteries from the time I was a kid. And one of the questions he asked was if I'd ever read a book just based on the cover, and I would have to say that I read a lot of books based on the cover. If they had sparkles or castles or fairies or gnomes on the cover, I was in. And I have created the covers for my middle grade series, The Tales of Christian Tamta, and then with that series I created a picture book called Meet Christian Tamta, and then I created an activity book also for that whole series. So there's 6 books in that series. As far as children's books goes, I've also created one that's a cloud game called Blue Sky White Cloud, and just finished a series of 10 incredible critter books, but I didn't do the art in those. Those are designed. I designed those, I researched them, and I edited the photos that I found. I make all kinds of books. I like to make, I have a word search I made, I have a coloring book, I have meditation coloring journals, and when I make a coloring page, I also call it a doodle page because I make pattern work. I do a lot of pattern work, and I actually have a YouTube channel myself, DM Paul Art, where I have free doodle videos. And if you go to my website at dmpaul.com, you can print freebies to either color or doodle along with the videos. Jacob noticed that some of my books have art on the covers, and those are actually some 200-page journals that I created during the Autistic Expressionism series that I was painting and drawing. I took 5 of those paintings and I created journals out of them. And I did that because I loved the artwork so well, and I thought it would, and I had been told by many people that it would make a good journal cover. So I decided to go ahead and make those. Those are available on Amazon. All my books links are available through my website. All my books have links available through my website, again at dmpaul.com. And so I made some journals with my art, and I've made illustrated children's books with my art before I was a very good artist. I like my art a lot better now, after all, spending so many years growing in it. And what's really funny is that I really am into abstract art now. And being autistic, I always felt like I didn't really understand the room. So I didn't understand what was the right way to do things, and I've always been searching for the right way. And as it turns out, learning that I was autistic actually gave me the freedom to do the things that I wanted to do my way. So my abstract, Jacob asked me a question about showing my first painting, and there's no way I'm going to do that. But I will show you my favorite painting, which comes from my recent series I've been working on of abstract paintings. And these are all 24 by 30 inch gallery wrapped canvases, or 36 by 48 inch gallery wrapped canvases. So they're very, very large paintings. And the time it takes to complete one is usually a couple, 3 weeks, because I don't paint on them a long time, maybe an hour to 2 hours each day, and then I wait for the paint to dry. I find realism very difficult to paint because I don't have the patience, or I should say I never did have the patience. In the last year, I've also grown patience for taking a lot more time on realistic painting. So I've gotten a lot better at those, but also I feel like there's such freedom in abstract painting that's where my joy lies. My art journey over the last year has given me a lot of freedom, and that's why I think I love the abstract so much, because each one is a part of my story. Each one talks about something specific. As I was struggling with feeling expectations, real or imagined, and breaking the shackles of those. One of my paintings is called Hit by a Bus, because I was actually hit by a bus. So I was processing the feelings on that. I'm in menopause, so one of the paintings is called Menopause, and it's it's so expressive. It's a joy of femininity, but it's also pain. Each abstract has a story. So that's been my favorite series I've been working on. Like, one of them I called Carrots, but on the front of it says, "I, woman, have a voice." Rawr! So if you want to see any of my work, my website again is dmpaul.com, and my autistic expressionism is up there, my abstracts are up there, and links, and all my books are up there, and all my downloadable free coloring pages are down there. Yeah, thank Jacob for asking me some questions to do this interview. And yeah, take care.